Welcome to the 25th episode of Roadkill, where we brought all of our junk that still runs, and a junk Datsun, and the dog. And we're gonna find out if the dog can outrun the guys from Motor Trend in our garbage.
This is our zip tie and duct tape special.
We put together 9 cars that we're gonna shoot out in this episode, but people ask us all of the time what happened to many of the cars that showed up on Roadkill that they've never seen again. Looking back, we've got that 73 Catalina from episode 1. I sold that thing to a couple back in Ohio, and they're still driving it. In the Cheap Truck Challenge, the Bronco, we unloaded that thing for like $500 when we were done. The Lamborghini, that went back to its rental agency, and the Rat Rod is still being used as a promotional tool by Sailor Jerry. When we did the thrash battle with the van and the wagon, yeah, when we were done, both of those things went to the junkyard. But the 55 Chevy that we put on the Gasser chassis, that is still in our shop, and it will come back. I promise you will see that Hemi-powered 55. Down in Australia, Gup loaned us that 727 cubic inch Holden. He brought it to the United States and ran Hot Rod Power Tour with it, and now it's back down under, and he is still doing killer burnouts in that car. The Junkyard Cuda was a funny story because we auctioned it off, and long story short, it ended up back at the junkyard that we bought it from. And it's not getting crushed, but it's still sitting there. Kind of the same story with the cop cars. After we were done thrashing on those, the guy we bought the Crown Vic from bought them both back, fluffed them up, and sold them. The Jeep Rod, you know the fate of that thing. Some guy bought it for like $500, and last we knew he was trying to sell it on Craigslist for $3,500. The Monza is still sitting behind Jeff Lutz's shop, maybe to be seen again someday. The Prius is flat as a pancake, although the tank still lives over at Bulletproof Diesel. Then there's the hugely popular muscle truck that we really wanted to shoot out in this episode, but we've been converting the thing to EFI and just didn't get it running right in time for the show. Our Bonneville car, yeah, we blew the motor up. I haven't worked on it yet, but that car will come back to the Salt Flats. Our custom Mercury went to Jim Norman at Norman Wineries in Paso Robles, California, and he has been working on that thing, painting it, doing some stuff to the engine, just make it into a cool cruiser. And then, of course, there's the Jaguar, which everybody's been dying to see. It's sitting around with no engine in it, but we do have a blown Blueprint Engines 383 small block for it. We just came up with a brilliant scheme, and I'm not going to tell you what it is because it's that good, and we probably won't pull it off. Because we didn't have enough to do trying to get all of these old project cars running and driving after they'd been sitting around forever, we decided to throw another one in the mix. And the one that was right in reach was our 71 Datsun 240Z. This is pretty easy to push.
This is why this would be great for the autocross. It's light. I love 240s and they are classics, but this one is pretty bad.
Oh, look at this. Check this out. See all the rust?
That's metal falling out of the deck lid. I can peel the car apart. Our 71 Datsun 240Z came from the guys at White Flag Racing. This is a $500 rust bucket of a Datsun. It's gonna be fast. It's got a 4.3 liter Chevy V6 out of an S10 pickup that I rebuilt with a set of bullet high compression pistons, a comp cams valve train, a new Holley carb. It makes 295 horsepower and has a 5-speed out of a junkyard S10. This could be fun, but we've never driven it. It's sat here for a year, and now we're gonna try to make this thing run. It's a race car, see? Push button to start.
Does it have a dead hole?
This is gonna end well. You sure that's gas?
Yeah, or it was at one time anyway. Nice!
Wow.
Okay.
It needs a battery.
Let's start making a list.
Okay.
This is the sleeve that's going over the formerly broken half shaft. You can see it's been welded back together and then sleeved with a piece of tube and welded around it to, in theory, make it bulletproof. Over here, it's welded, but not sleeved. This is the one thing we might have to fix under here. And it had a bunch of other problems. It didn't have a fuel system on the thing. So I'm thinking plenty of heavy-duty zip ties hold that pretty well right there.
You wanna zip tie the fuel pump to the rear end of the car.
Well, it's not moving.
We'll let Carlos drive this one.
Doesn't hurt my feelings.
What are you guys doing?
Cutting the axle in half so we can weld it back together with a sleeve on it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
On the car. Technically, this car ran and drove, but the reality was it was going to break as soon as it hit the parking lot. We're gonna drill holes in it first and rosette weld it here and around the ends. It'll be stronger. I mean, is it gonna last? I don't know.
You know, there's zip tying stuff, and then there's craftsmanship. This is just going over that line right now. Flawless.
Good God, man. Call up Nissan. Tell them they're doing it wrong.
It's like factory, right? We planning on driving this there? I just moved it 100 yards and I'm scared of the brakes.
So it's ready for the autocross is what you're saying.
232 angry cubic inches. I was driving the Gremlin in here and noticed that the brakes are really bad. This rotor is warped and gacked. That is a big part of the problem right there. So the Gremmy needs a new rotor, which it's not getting right now. So that'll be fun on the autocross. Precision handling. Yeah, I think this thing's a contender. Look at that baby.
The Gremlin is present and as autocross ready as a car with warped brakes can get. The El Camino is present, and we haven't driven the ramp truck since last summer, and we cannot find the keys. I'm gonna go to the ramp truck because I vaguely remember a hide a key being not so well hidden under the front bumper. Maybe that'll save us. Bingo. Nice. Aha, door open. There we go. Woo! Two things are telling me that this show is a good idea. One, I found the spare key of the Ram truck and it fired right up. And two, if this was really a bad idea, somebody would have already come back in time to stop us from doing this. We got a pretty good indication of how well the Datsun was put together. I hit the brake pedal and the parking lights lit up. Oh, the brakes are really bad. Brakes are really, really bad. All right, well, we have 2 gears.
Okay, I take it back. It sounds like a UPS truck. So the Datsun wasn't registered or insured, so we were gonna put it on the back of our ramp truck and haul it out there. We were gonna do that tonight, but unfortunately, the radiator leaks like a sieve. We gotta deal with that or it's not even gonna survive the autocross deal. And so we're beat for tonight. We're gonna clean up, wrap it up. We're gonna meet here in the morning, wrench a little bit more, and then start hauling 9 cars 40 miles away for an idea that's getting worse and worse as time goes by.
Look what I got. Freshie.
That says champion on it.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna be with this car.
Next day, first thing in the morning, we installed a brand new radiator in the Datsun that was clearly worth more than the entire rest of the car.
Wow.
And we also needed to dig out the Ranchero. I sense the fear in the Motor Trend staff's eyes as we drive by. Oh yeah, show them the power.
The dog has proven that both you and I are expendable as far as the audience is concerned. We don't even have to be here.
She's the brains in the operation.
It's too bad that dog's so lazy. Doesn't appreciate what it's got.
And on the way there, Finnegan decided to surprise me with the news that we weren't going to have just 1 dog on this deal, but 2.
So they were doing maintenance on the apartment and I had to take the dog to work today.
So you had her groomed?
Normally Bella doesn't get along with other dogs.
We've had a lot of stuff stored in the Automobile Driving Museum in El Segundo, California for quite a long time. And so we went over there looking for our leftover projects and we didn't even know where they were. Still says Hot Rod on the building. We found it. Jaguar, stock car, and Ranchero.
The original plan was we'd buy that and see how far we could drive it on the street before it got impounded. And then the lawyers got involved and they got spooked. And so there it sits.
And that's genuine Alaska dirt.
Look at that, we didn't even unpack from this trip. The jack stands and wheels are still in here.
Nope. And look what's clean is the registration sticker. So we're good.
Oh, dude, there's dirty Alaska. These are yours.
Yep.
Okay, this car's nasty. This is it. This is what was in this car when we left Alaska. There's Freiburger's dirty clothes.
There you go. Wow.
It's like it's ready to go to Alaska.
Mint! Ah, memories.
Charging system's not quite working, so we're gonna leave the jump box under the hood, tied down with a fan belt, and drive about a mile back to our office.
It's kind of cool that we're finally getting all of these cars running at the same time after neglecting them for something between months and years at a time. But this is a hassle. I think this is only vehicle number 1, 2, 3, 4 that we've gotten running, so we've got another 5 to go.
Hey!
That's probably not good with the office and everything.
Both times we drove the Ranchero long distances, no matter how we twisted the distributor, this thing pinged. So, with David under the bottom of the car, cranking the engine over slowly, I slid a piece of welding rod through the spark plug hole of the number 1 cylinder, and we figured out where top dead center was.
That's probably about half the dwelling right there.
So when we set the ignition timing to 30 degrees advanced max, that was actually 60 degrees. Thus the reason this ran like poop for 2 years. We remarked the balancer, we're about to fire it up, and I really think the amount of effort we just put into this balances out the number of zip ties we put on the Datsun.
Mint! I can't hear you!
You gotta put on your Tom Cruise Maverick face when you do that. Like all the other cars, at the last second I remembered this had a big problem with the brakes, and it was that I let a coworker drive it. He'll remain nameless.
Politically correct.
Brandon. And Brandon wears like size 14 combat boots to work every day. And he must have panic stopped when I loaned it to him and put his foot through the floor of the car because he actually bent the rod going into the booster. We're taking it apart and cutting the bent part off and hoping there's enough thread left there to put the adjuster on, and yeah, last minute roadkill. This is more roadkill hackery. We cut the bent part off the push rod for the booster, which now made it too short, so our clevis, which connects to the brake pedal, is too far away from it. There's no adjustment there. So I'm gonna extend it just that much. I'm gonna weld a nut to the clevis using a bolt that is the same thread as the push rod to align everything, and then that fixes everything. That gets us on the road. Fixed! Woohoo! Let's go.
It is 8:30 at night. All of our vehicles are still scattered to the wind. We have about 5 of them here. We're gonna try and get 4 of them out to the track tonight by calling in reinforcements from the staff of Hot Rod in order to load up the Datsun onto the ramp truck. We're gonna shuffle a bunch of this junk out there, leave it there overnight, meet at my house in the morning, drag some more crap over there, and so on and so forth until we finally have a show.
This morning we brought the El Camino and the Super Bee to the racetrack, and now we're at Freiburger's place picking up the Charger and the Crusher Camaro and the Macho Grande. I think after that we can actually start racing. This is the inside of just one of Freiburger's garages, and when I first met him, we came in here and actually cleaned and organized this entire place. Like, this was empty. You could walk in here, and now there's no less than 8 motors sitting in here. This man is a speed parts warehouse.
Here we have a perfectly good running driving car, and we can't drive it out to Santa Anita because I can't get it registered. This thing hasn't been on the books since 1983, and when I took it to the DMV to get the VIN verified, the woman came out and looked at it and freaked. She literally, because it didn't have glass in the interior and because it looked rough, wigged out and would not sign the paperwork. 10 o'clock now. The Motor Trend guys are already over at Santa Anita, and I'm picking up this junk that has a dead battery, and you'll notice this is drag strip fresh, and we still have not put the air cleaners back in it, which is a pain in the neck. And you might see this green pile sitting here and wondering, why isn't that going with us? Well, the F-Bomb's not a roadkill car. Yet. It's waiting its turn. The battery on this thing has been stone dead for 6 months. So I take my jump starter that we just used on the Crusher and drive around with it under the hood. Perfect.
We've got the last car ready. We're really late. We're headed back to Santa Anita, which means right about now, Johnny Lieberman is standing in an empty parking lot.
How about Carlos?
I don't think Carlos was coming till later, but from what I understand, Johnny's on time, if not early.
We gave them both the same call time. That just reveals Carlos watches the show and shows up at noon when we say 10:30. Johnny, not a fan. We weren't going to shoot these things out by ourselves. We brought out the experts, Carlos Lago and Johnny Lieberman, both staff editors on Motor Trend, both guys who you've seen on the Motor Trend channel YouTube doing all sorts of professional driving in cars way better than this.
I'm near Modena, Italy, driving Horacio Pagani's personal Zonda S Roadster.
And so we were going to meet them there at the racetrack, but of course, we were late. I let Finnegan make that phone call.
Hey, Finnegan?
Yeah.
Hey, dude.
How do you like the autocross course?
So Freiburger sent an email last night, like, be here by 10. And so I've been here for an hour and a half. And where are you?
We're late, you know.
Oh.
We're right on time for us.
I know you want to be really helpful with this deal.
There's about 70 or 80 cones there that need to be set up into an autocross course. If you could just make that happen.
Just make an autocross course?
Tell him he's got the expertise that we lack.
Yeah, because we know you guys are big on testing at Motor Trend, and you know the best way to configure those cones given the cars that you have in front of you.
All right. Bye. I don't know why I believed anything he said. Like, 10 a.m. for these idiots. It's noon for other people.
Oh, there goes the neighbor's car alarm.
They're like suburban terrorists, you know? Like, do you own a house in the suburbs? You see these two coming?
I'm kind of scared,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah, a little bit.
Is that a driver's seat?
I wanted to be safe. I've seen the show, I know how it goes down, so I brought a couple things to prepare.
Wow.
Is that rubbing alcohol?
That's hydrogen peroxide. Rubbing alcohol is flammable. I brought this because I'm sure, actually, this would be a present to you guys.
He's going to prove useful with that.
I also brought some condoms just because, hey, you never know.
Wishful thinking condoms, too. Check those out.
I learned to always be prepared.
2 questions. One, is your wife's El Camino one of the cars?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And is the ramp truck racing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Everything
awesome.
here.
Can I drive the ramp? I want to drive the ramp truck.
As it turns out, I gave Lieberman way too much credit for actually working setting up the racetrack, because there was some chalk marks on the ground from a car club that had been racing an autocross there just like a weekend earlier. And so we ended up using that track, and it was perfect. Carlos and Johnny brought out a Kia Rio 5, which I'd never heard of. Apparently, it's a really high-end rental car. And they were going to do some lap times with that thing to set sort of a baseline with which to judge the roadkill cars. And then we were going to run through each car in the roadkill fleet, and we were all going to drive them.
I'm extremely happy we're finally going to get a Kia into an episode of Roadkill.
2, 1, go.
So first on track in the Kia was Carlos Lago. He was the guy to beat today. We've seen his videos. Guy knows how to drive. We've watched him drift some stuff that we don't even know how to pronounce.
Here are those all-season tires working as hard as they possibly can.
And so he got in the car and laid down a baseline of a 101.68. And Johnny backed that up with a 104.11.
I mean, you're in this because I asked Finnegan, and I'm like, what would piss off Freiburger the most? And he's like, probably a Korean car. So
we brought one.
I beat Johnny with a 101.91. But then Finnegan saved the day, bringing the glory back to Roadkill.
picking up a lot of dust.
Well, it does that when you drive on the chalk.
Beating Carlos with a 101.46.
Yeah!
Next up, ramp truck.
So far, pretty good day at work.
This is our 1973 Chevy 1-ton ramp truck, the genius vehicle that you can load a car onto the back of eliminating the need for a trailer so you can haul stuff anywhere. It is powered by a 454 and a turbo 400 and probably 456s in the 14-bolt rear end. And let me tell you, this thing is a precision handling machine. We picked up the ramp truck at the very end of episode 19, and it was one of the best deals we have ever had. $3,500 for this thing, and the air conditioning works. So does the cruise control. We've said it before, this thing is way too good for us, so we were going to try hard to wreck it today.
So I saw something dangling down underneath.
Oh, just fuel line.
That's the fuel line. Okay, yeah. Good.
Yeah, race it.
Good luck.
3, 2, 1.
Go, baby, go. Oh, God.
Oh, I got a water bottle under my foot. That might be an issue.
Looks great though. It's
Yeah, it sounds
majestic.
Oh, this could be bad.
Oh, Camaro truck, look out.
Look how far he was past the. Look at where he stopped.
That's better and more fun than any Ferrari.
Okay, 114.3.
114.30.
I want to drive it.
You know, the ramp truck wasn't nearly as bad as I expected. I thought it was just gonna wallow and be a complete disaster. And don't get me wrong, the thing understeers and does not stop, but you can actually throw it around. I thought it was pretty good. But the best part of the entire run was trying to get stopped in the stop box.
Oh, wait, late break, late break. He's gonna kill David, he did that on purpose.
In the ramp truck, the Motor Trend guys were really close. Carlos put down the slowest time with a 1:18.85, and Johnny outran him barely with a 1:18.81. My driving skill in the ramp truck proved itself with a 1:14.10. This is the 73 GMC Suburban Sierra Grande, better known as the Macho Grande. We picked up this car and used it to drag Finnegan's 55 Chevy from Los Angeles all the way up to Oregon and back, but I didn't know how fast it was going to be because the 454 is worn out. This truck has 350,000 miles on it.
I think it's going to be slower than the ramp truck.
If you drive as if there is no trailer back there, it should be really close to that.
We figured it just wouldn't make sense if we didn't do the autocross with the trailer attached.
There's no pin in here. The coupler has no pin.
Yeah, what's Spanish for bad idea?
3, 2, 1, go.
Yes! I didn't kill the trailer.
I gotta be honest, I did not want to beat up my 350,000 mile daily driver, and so only Finnegan and I ran it.
That looked pretty good.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
He ran a 1:15.30, and I beat him with trucker arm out the window at a 1:08.55. So far, the Kia is still in the lead, having outrun both the ramp truck and the Macho Grande, and so we brought out the big guns. Our Gremlin is a 1975 model, and everyone, yes, we know, it has a 1976 grille in it. It also has a completely worn out 232 straight six and the Torque Command automatic transmission and a suspension that is essentially destroyed. But it does have new tires.
Now we're going to Gremmy, and the argument is, will the Gremlin be slower or faster than the Macho Grande with the trailer on the back of it? And will it outrun the Kia?
It looks like the Gremlin got punched in the face. It's kind of got a black eye going on.
Never actually been around a Gremlin and not had a joint, so this will be different.
Oh, okay.
But the exhaust leak might, you know.
Go for it. 3, 2, 1, go!
Ah, yeah, nice leisurely drive in the Grem.
It's not looking quick.
It's funny, you gotta get on it way early because of the delay in throttle response.
Now, warp brake discs. Yeah, you want more bands because what it does is it disperses the energy across the width of the area. 3, 2, 1, go! Yeah!
Aggressive. Yeah. What happened?
It should be that it handles like a refrigerator full of bowling balls, but this is the next level worse than that. The Gremlin handles like a nun carrying a mattress.
We're making a new course here. Just keep moving cones.
Oh!
Solid third place.
Once I got behind the wheel of the Gremlin, I remembered how bitter I was about the fact that it tried to kill me in the middle of the desert when we were flat towing the Prius. So, when it came time, I made sure to turn the front tires into stop signs.
I think the car that the Motor Trend guys were most excited to drive was the Gremlin. It's a really bad, and it's gutless, and it bogs, it sometimes dies, and the brakes lock up. That said, that's a great little car. Next up was our Ranchero, the '68 Ford Ranchero that we built up to look like the car that Hot Rod used to win the very first Mexican 1000 off-road race. And it has manual steering that is slower than slow. This thing was the car that we hauled all the way to Alaska for the ice races, and it was a riot to wheel around the autocross. The thing about all these roadkill cars is watching them go around these corners is really like a ballet. It's really just a work of art. And to supplement that, we took our box of shop towels and left them in the back of the Ranchero so that it could wave its victory flag as it drove by.
Don't waste the tires. What'd I do?
With style.
Go! Forgot about the manual steering.
We were all so busy laughing our asses off in the Ranchero, it's a miracle that we even got it all the way around the track. But we did, and the finishing order is starting to look pretty familiar. Next up, naturally, the '68 Charger we call the General Mayhem.
It sounds epic. But you put it on pavement with a little bit of traction, and suddenly
The single worst handling car we had here.
We cobbled this thing together out of a bare hulk using used RV parts. It has a 440 out of a full-on Pace Aero motorhome.
Is it faster than a Kia? Because nothing
No.
so far faster than a Kia Rio 5. It just sounds like metal flexing.
I like that.
Look at all the just coming out of that car.
handles really badly.
This car is bad. So bad. I think each of us only wanted to make one lap in the thing, and that's what Finnegan and I did. It handles so horrible with no sway bars on it and worn out front suspension. That thing needs some help before we ever drive it again. But we're gonna. I promise, it's coming. At this point, as much as we tried to make fun of the Motor Trend guys, they were still owning us because their Kia was still quicker than every single car that we had brought out here. And the next one up was Finnegan's wife's El Camino.
The El Camino is your typical hot rod muscle car. It doesn't have a lot of money in it, but where it does, it counts. It's got killer Falcon Azenas tires. It's got some Beltex suspension with big sway bars on it, and I had a feeling it could win on the autocross.
But is it faster than a Kia Rio?
This is the car that we did the engine swap up in the parking lot of Summit Racing in Nevada. It's got the original Turbo 350 automatic in it. It's got the regular old 308 open rear end, but I think there's a chance this thing's gonna run hard.
Frankly, my wife had no idea we were racing it that day, but I had a feeling this thing could be the quickest car around the autocross, and I was out to prove that.
3, 2, 1, go!
That looks really good, actually.
I'm thinking Kia's pretty scared right now.
That was a really bad, funny noise.
What happened?
Remember our trick? Welded together nut brake job? Oh, broke in half when I came through here. How quick was it though?
It was faster than the Kia. You beat.
Faster than the Kia! Yeah! Win! So much win! Yes!
This is very telling, and this is maybe the difference between Hot Rod and Motor Trend. The first car to go faster than a Kia cannot go anymore.
Hindsight is a wonderful thing, and I know I shouldn't have slammed the thing in park, but at the time, it didn't occur to me to shut the engine off, and I couldn't stop.
This car is 2 seconds faster than a Kia Rio.
Is that good or bad?
And finally, we brought the violence, pulling up the Crusher Camaro. You've seen this car a lot lately, and you know that we just stuffed it with 700 horsepower worth of Mast Motorsports LS7.
3, 2, 1.
I was the first at the wheel in the Crusher, and I was just throttling this thing. Anything below like 80 miles an hour, and this thing is gonna blaze rubber.
I really thought the Crusher Camaro could have destroyed all on the autocross course if it had a good set of summer tires on it. We were still rocking the snowshoes from when we drove home from Indy.
2, 1, go!
Impressively, Carlos Lago from Motor Trend took the win in the Crusher with a 1:00:55. And of course, it beat the Kia. That's good, because can you imagine the humiliation if a Kia had outrun the Crusher Camaro? Finally, at the end of the day, we looked around and we had 2 cars left, the Super Bee and the Datsun. The Super Bee wasn't running quite right, so we dragged out the Datsun, and then somebody let it sit with the key on forever, and it killed a fuel pump.
Stupid roadkill.
And with that, we were done for the day.
Well, what did we learn?
Absolutely nothing. We had a lot of fun beating on junk for no reason. Tomorrow we still need to beat on the Datsun and the Super Bee.
And if I could be serious for a moment,
No.
Carlos called it the Crusher Corolla, but I gotta say, like, we drive a lot of cars. I'll speak for myself. That's one of the coolest cars I've ever driven.
Oh,
That
cool.
is a hell of a
Thanks.
car.
That is amazing. I love that car.
Thanks. It's entertaining. Does good burnouts. So you're back tomorrow. You're not.
Yes.
Can't make it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was fun.
That was cool.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
For sure. For sure.
All right. Clean up. The plan for today is to wrap up our autocross testing with the cars that haven't run yet. Got to do the Datsun, because that's really the whole premise of this whole show, is making the Datsun run. And we got to run the Super Bee, which is going to be perhaps the single worst vehicle out here.
This is my own 1970 Dodge Super Bee that you've seen in a bunch of issues of Hot Rod Magazine, and it's been on the Motor Trend channel a bunch too. It's got a 484 cubic inch Dick Landy Hemi. It makes about 600 horsepower. It was in the episode of Roadkill where we drove it and the Crusher Camaro up to Salt Lake City together.
3, 2, 1, go!
The front tires are so skinny, and the car is so heavy, and the brakes are so mediocre.
Oh, steering is so heavy in this thing, and it's wallowing so bad. Oh, and the brakes do not work. Oh, and the front tires are just folding under.
I was sort of wimpy and cut a 1:15:56.
Oh, I can't now stop it.
It's gotta be dead last.
It wasn't Finnegan's car, so he drove the thing like a man and ran a 1:09:76.
This is the most butchered roadkill car ever, and I think you know the level of that statement.
When we finally got the Datsun running under its own power, I was so fired up, I hopped in it and tried to make a lap, and that didn't go so well. I think I spun it out twice. It came out of gear almost every time I tried to put it in second. The thing was a disaster.
No, he doesn't have it. $102.25. I risked my life for nothing. Oh, no big deal. The battery just fell out. Oh, good.
In the last turn of the only lap this thing completed, the battery fell over and welded itself to the header.
That's not safe. You know it's a good sign when the hood of a car is open and there's 4 guys standing around it. Turns out the problem with the Datsun is everything.
So at this point it's drizzling and the pavement is wet at the paved acres of destruction. And the destruction was going to be big because we lined up 9 cars side by side by side to do a short little drag race. It probably was about 330 feet.
Everyone set.
3, 2, 1, go.
The results of drag race number 1, Super B in first, El Camino in second, Ranchero in third, Charger next, Macho Grande behind that, then the Ram truck. The Gremlin was essentially dead last in the cars that actually moved because the Crusher spun out and the Datsun never left the starting line. So for our final drag race, we turned the course around. That gave us less stopping distance, but at least we had a launch pad with 0 dirt on it.
Let's do this.
3, 2, 1, go.
Once I wasn't driving through dirt, the Crusher actually came in second place to the Super B. I didn't spin out this time. And then it was the Ranchero in third, then the El Camino, the Charger, the Macho Grande, the Ram truck, and once again bringing up the rear, the Gremlin.
So finally, in the 2 drag races, the Super B redeemed itself because out on the autocross, it was slower than the Macho Grande hauling a trailer. But on the drag race, it was good because I was able to get the thing hooked up and absolutely tromp the Crusher Camaro both times. So in the end, we didn't prove a whole lot here, but we had a bunch of fun. And yeah, Finnegan and I aren't really handling car guys, but we will say we managed to outrun the Motor Trend guys in every one of our pieces of junk. And we were able to trample their Kia. The El Camino and the Crusher Camaro were able to go faster around an autocross than a Kia Rio 5. And I'm standing on that statement proudly because we've got another 7 cars that did not outrun that junk. It proved that the Ranchero, as bad as it was the most fun car to drive on this deal, and I can't even tell you why. It had decent power. I went all the way around in first gear and just shrieked the thing up to like 6,500 RPM. For me, the biggest disappointment was the Charger. It just didn't handle well at all, but it motivated me to fix the thing, and we've got a good plan on what we're going to be doing with this car in the future. So this is only our 25th episode. We hope there's plenty more to come, and we guarantee you're going to see some of this stuff again, and a whole lot more of Roadkill.
Ah! No! Sewage breath! You smell like the Santa Monica Bay! Get lost! Ah! Ah! I got tongued again!